Big Stills National Football Show. Appreciate you coming aboard. 5 guys that I like in the upcoming draft for the Eagles. I'm going to get to that here in a minute. My Defensive Player of the Year candidates for my vote. Also, Derek Carr's been benched. There's a $40 million deal that didn't work. Gee, really? So let's add this to the list. Carson Wentz. Kyler Murray, because he's dual threat, hurt. Derek Carr, benched. And you see what he did too? So Derek Carr, instead of being with his teammates, wants to step away from the team. You know what Jalen Hurts would do? He'd be right there supporting Tagovailoa, giving him all of his positive energy he possibly could be, and help him and his team win a Super Bowl. That's Jalen Hurts versus Derek Carr. Step away from the team? Oh, I see. When shit's not going your way, you bail and pull the ripcord? F you. You need a powder? Time away from the team? Hey, you suck too, dude. Man, you talk about a soft-ass mentality. Jalen Hurts sat there when he was embarrassed in front of the world when they yanked him out of that game. Sat there with Tagovailoa, and I'll never forget saying this about the kid, and I wasn't really following Jalen Hurts at the time. I go, that's quite a teammate. Great support. Helped him. Derek Carr goes like this. I'm going to step away from the team. I've been benched. You know the word I want to use. Jesus criminy, man. Dude, you talk about Queasy Watkins being soft. That's a loser mentality. You're in this shit together. That's Russell Wilson stupid shit. Offices off to the side. Russell Wilson has an office. His office should be his locker next to his teammates. That's why they hate him. Oh, I see. I got a locker, you got an office. Hey, dude, we're in this shit together. Everybody's got an oar, no matter how much money you make. We all got oars. What a loser mentality, man. I'm making $42 million. They bench me. And he don't like it, so he has to have time away from the team. Are you hurt? Someone die in your family? Or just your career dying? You know what that comes off as? He's not invested in his teammates. Come win or lose. Dude, you never judge a man when things are going great. You judge him when shit's not going great. You see his reactions. Jalen Hurts, the way he acted in Alabama, dude, I can't think of a more embarrassing. You know what? It'd be the equivalent of them doing this. Right as I was getting ready to walk out, they would start someone else over me after I played all the games. I mean, I don't know how I'd react. I'll tell you what, when they used to take me out of games, I used to throw my helmet because I'm a poor sportsman. Big Sills don't sit the bench. I don't like it. I don't like sitting. I know. And especially if you start taking me out for lesser dudes. Now, we had Russell Maryland and Cortez Kennedy behind me. Okay? But they were young dudes, man. I used to kill me there. Sitting on the, taking the, Sills, we're trying to arrest you here, man. We're up 38-7. I never wanted to come out. I didn't give a shit what the score was. Sills, I still love your show, even if I'm invisible to you. Lucius, you're not invisible. Are you kidding me, man? You're one of my most loyal viewers, man. Give me no, man. Come on, Lucius. You should know better than that. Don't go there. I see all of you, man. Some good, some bad. All I care is you're there. Doesn't have. Hey guys, remember this. My aunt gets upset with some of you. Me, on the other hand, I just care you're there. All right. Let's do this. Before I get into the Eagles, what positions do we need to address here? Right now, I think the pick is 10. And if we're going to go with the Super Bowl win, let's just hypothetically go with the Super Bowl win. You'd have the 10th and the 32nd pick. Okay? The 10th and the 32nd pick. Okay? So we'll get to that here in a minute. Here's my defensive player of the year. And guys, I got to tell you something here. Got to give Jonathan Gannon a lot of love, man. He figured it out. Okay? GT, thank you, man. Right? I mean, it's sports. Come on, guys. Number 8, I don't have 9 and 10. I don't think there's good enough players to be 9 and 10. I got 8 players. I couldn't just put a list together of 10 guys that I thought really played exceptional football this year. Now, you could probably put that guy Sauce Gardner in there at 9. I think he's played pretty well. Okay? I think he's played pretty well. I got Matthew Judon, Patriots, at number 8. He's fallen a little bit because that defense has come back. He's had a whale of a season, though. I can't believe the Ravens moved off his ass. I got Myles Garrett at 7. He's fallen a little bit because that defense has also fallen a little bit, but it's being asked to do a lot. You ready for this one? I got to do it. I got Haason Reddick, number 6. Haason Reddick, 14 sacks. And moving up. Maybe by the end of the – what if Reddick has 3 more sacks or 2 more sacks this weekend in New Orleans? Okay? Now we're talking about 16 sacks. He potentially could have a 17-sack season. I don't know. Now you're starting to get into top 3 when you're starting to talk like that. Okay? So I got Reddick at 6, edge rusher. Max Crosby, Raiders. I think he's falling. Reddick's had a better year. He's at 5. I think Chris Jones, the defensive tackle for the Chiefs, has played wonderful football this year. Wonderful football. I got him at 4. I got him at 3, excuse me. At 3. I got Micah Parsons, and I get this. Has Micah Parsons had a better year than Haason Reddick? And here's why I'm comparing those two. Guys, here's why I'm – don't the Cowboys play almost the same exact schedule that the Eagles play? Reddick's outplayed them. Okay? Do you think Micah Parsons has outplayed Haason Reddick this year? I mean, I'm starting to go no. I'm not. I don't believe Micah Parsons is who this guy is. I don't believe who the media is painting a different picture. When I watch him play, sometimes I don't see him in ball games, man. When I watch Haason Reddick play now lately, hey, would we not agree since they got the 2 interior linemen? Joseph and Sue, he's been more of a force. Once they've stopped that run, he's getting after the passer. He's in the backfield a lot. I mean, some of those plays and some of those hurries are a direct result of him. I think Reddick has been more consistent than Micah Parsons this year. But, you know, and I even feel shitty putting him at 2. But I got Bosa at 1. I think he's won this thing. He has been a terror. I think 17.5 sacks, some shit like that. He's number 2 in TFLs, tackles for losses. He's had a great year. Don't forget Barrett Brooks at the bottom of the hour. I think he's had a great year. But, I mean, every game, right? Am I right when I say this? Every game that I've seen Parsons play against the Eagles, I don't know. And when they put the lesser guy in, Jack Driscoll's when I kind of see him But hey, this last game, even though the Eagles put up 34 points on that defense, 34 points on a so-called Micah Parsons defense, you're not doing that shit to Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor. You think you're putting 34 points up on a Reggie White gangrene defense or the 86 New York Giants? Do you really think you're doing that? You think you're putting 40 points on the New York Giants with Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks and them dudes? You think you're putting 40 points on Seth Joyner and them guys? Man, I don't see it. Those teams were offended when you scored 20 or more. No way. You call yourself the best defensive player. That's always why I had an ass with Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald played on more defenses that gave up 5 yards a carry. And Xander and I have gone back and forth on this. Dude, he's a heck of a pass rusher. But he can't play the run. He cannot play the run. He's never played on a top 10 run defense. So what I'm saying by that is, it's a different era. I get it. But he's not a complete he's not Warren Sapp. I'll take Sapp over that guy any day. Because Sapp played the run. Sapp was on a number one defense. That Bucks defense, the 0-2 Bucks. That Bucks defense, I mean, I get it. You had Rondé Barber and John Lynch and Derek Brooks and Sapp, and you had the defensive end from Illinois. You had Chidi Ahanatu on that defense. You had a bunch of really good ball players on that defense. Simeon Rice, I'm talking. Right? So I think Bosa's really had it. A great year. All right. What positions do you believe the Eagles have to address in this upcoming April draft? Wow. January, February, March. Is that right? January, February, March. We're 4 months away from the NFL draft. Is that right? January, February, March, April. We're 4 months from the draft. Dude, the NFL doesn't take any breaks. Season goes like this. February is the Super Bowl. 2 months later, you get the draft. That is insane. I'd rather have Jerome Brown over Aaron Donald. Hey, I'm biased, man. Corner linebackers. They're not drafting linebackers in the first round. They'll get them in the latter rounds because Howie will want to go cheap. You're not going to pay TJ Edwards what he wants. I think he's a good run stopper, but I don't know about he's not an every down guy. I mean, you have to get Nakobe Dean up to speed. Why? So you think they need to draft a linebacker? I thought Nakobe Dean was going to cover it. Bob, I like your selections up there, Bob. Here's who I like. Did you guys watch Texas Tech last night? This Tyree kid last night. That Tyree Wilson, 6'6", 275, edge rusher. Man, that's the most athletic defensive pass rusher that's going into the draft. He is a prototypical effort and athletic guy that I think Howie likes. He's 6'6", 275, and he runs a 4.5. He was enforced last. Hey, and I've gone back. I watched him last night, and this morning I put on some film of him. Holy shit, can this guy play? This guy is a great-looking ball player. Joseph goes, I want Will Anderson. Hey, I want a Ferrari too. I think Josh Sweat's had a great year. I think he's had a great year. But you cannot have enough edge rushers in today's NFL. And to me, I'm going edge rushers and cornerback. To me, those are your money downs. And those are your money players. Here's your money positions. Corner, edge rusher, left tackle, quarterback, wide receiver, maybe tight end. The rest of them are dudes. That's why when the Eagles have $30 million wrapped up in 2 tackles. That shit's gone, man. Nobody puts $30 million in 2 defensive tackles. See, those are kind of old contracts. You'll never see the Philadelphia Eagles put $30 million ever again in 2 defensive tackles. That will not happen. Nobody in the league does that. They put them all on the edge and at the cornerback position. Nobody. So the Eagles are coming out of an old era 5 years ago, right? 6 years ago. That's old era shit. But you got 14-4 in Cox and 12-9 in Hardgrave. Dude, you got too much money lined up in your DTs. Too much money's lined up there. And Josh Sweat has proven to me he can play. I'd like to put another guy on the other end. And I'd like to rush Reddick like they do in Dallas from the linebacker position. So you imagine if you had a guy, and this is what Dallas kind of has, with DeMarcus Lawrence and with Micah Parsons. If you had another guy to that dimension coming off the corner, so you had 2 edge rushers and you had Haason Reddick. Haason Reddick would benefit incredibly from having 2 big edge rushers. Josh Sweat is playing really good ball. He's playing really good football. Jared Verse, edge rusher, Florida State. Get a chance to watch him if you're watching the bowl game now. 6'4", 256. He's like the kid Burns down in Carolina. He's another Florida State guy. Florida State does a wonderful job of putting edge rushers in the NFL. He's another one of those guys that look like a hybrid. 6'4", 256, can run, high-energy guy. He's a good-looking football player, too. Again, FSU, man, the kid Burns, I see why people wanted to throw 2 ones at him. And I'm talking Carolina because he's a good-looking – Rams wanted to throw 2, but they were too far in the future, and Carolina needs to build a football team now for the new coach. I saw this kid play. I can't remember what game it was. Illinois was playing maybe Michigan. And this Devon Witherspoon kid, cornerback, 6 foot 180. Man, what a hitter. See, to me, I think they need a little attitude back there. I was telling Barrett, and I was talking to the Sports Take guys, the difference between the 17 team and the 2022 team, I think the 17 team, I think they played like junkyard dogs, man. I think teams were more, hey, would we agree? Teams were more afraid of the 2017 team than they are this team. I think that's because of the coaching. And I think it's the style of coaching. Not because these guys aren't tough to coaches. I'm saying just the style of coaching. Jonathan Gannon is not an aggressive guy. He's not an aggressive guy. And in all truth, Sirianni and Steichen rather throw the ball than run it. There's just an attitude. So if you put the kid Witherspoon back there and you got guys, dude, there's nothing like having a tone setter back there. Hey, tell me this. Was Brian Dawkins a tone setter back there in the secondary? Was Wes Hopkins a tone setter? Was Andre Waters a tone setter? Dude, was Cam Chancellor on the Legion of Boom? Was he not a tone setter? Dude, those guys set the tone, man, for their defense. One knockout is all you need, and it sets the tone. You play against aggressive defenses like that, I'll tell you this, man. My favorite football player in the NFL is Derwin James. That guy can freaking play. And he is a hitter. He doesn't give a shit about his body. He don't care where. He don't care about the rules. Man, that's the kind of guy. Hey, I'll tell you this. Every time Derwin James gets a 15-yard penalty or gets ejected, I'm paying for it. I'm paying for it. I don't care. I love Derwin James. What a great – and by the way, lame-ass NFL rules, those wide receivers duck their heads. Quarterbacks are so shitty today. They put their guys in harm's way. It's almost impossible to hit anybody. They don't do anything to protect the defensive. It's all about the wormy wideouts. Hey, man, defenseless wideout. Hit that guy. Knock that guy out. Hit that guy. And this kid is like that. I like this kid, Joey Porter Jr. And I got to tell you guys, can I give you a little insight? Do you know does anybody here know who the defensive coordinator of Penn State is? Do you guys know who the D coordinator of Penn State is? I had a great conversation last night with him. I've known him for about 25 years. Do you guys know who he is? He used to come watch me play when he was a young kid. There you go, Philly. It's Manny Diaz, former head coach of the University of Miami. And I said, what about this kid? He goes, Sills, he's got a nose for the ball, and he runs to it. He's a killer. He's well-schooled by his pop. He is a football player. And I was like this. That's great to hear. I see the internet's kind of like fading in and out here a little bit here. Appreciate you guys' patience. Thank you so much. I had a conversation with Manny. I said, Manny, what do you think he has to work on? He goes, I'd like to see him a little bigger. He's about 190. Fast as lightning. Okay? The kid can play. I'd like a guy like him, plus he's got roots in the area. Plus, his old man's a former Steeler. And from what I understand, Joey Porter Jr. is an Eagle fan. Okay? You know what? Hey, I'm awake. Are you? I think safety too. I don't really think he's a corner. I think he's more like a safety because if you watch any of the Penn State games, he kind of plays like a Wolverine, or he's kind of like, in between a safety and in between a linebacker. He's kind of like that. I agree with you. Put his ass back there in the safety position, and I think he'd be warranted. The 32nd pick. Here, this kid Wilson, edge rusher, if you can't get Will Anderson, you might want to trade down. I've talked to that before. If your guy's not there, you might want to trade back to get more first-round picks. That is a possibility as well. But the two edge rushers, that the kid from Texas Tech and the kid from Florida State, are worthy of a 10th pick. They're worthy of that 10th pick. Now, again, if that pick moves back up, you beat the Saints this weekend, it gets up closer to 7-5, there'll be different players in that conversation. Be different conversations. I also like the kid from Georgia at the safety position, but he's a corner at Georgia. His name is Kaylee Ringo, 6'2", 210. He's another one of those guys. You're not going to go wrong with Southeastern Conference players. You're just not going to go wrong with them. By the way, Barrett Brooks is going to join us hopefully in a couple minutes too. So, look, I got edge rusher, cornerback. Joey Porter is listed as a corner. The only reason they list him as a corner is because corners get paid more than safeties. So if he goes into the NFL, I don't think he's going to go into the NFL as a corner. I think he goes into the NFL as a safety. And the Eagles need a safety, okay? They need to address the safety position. Because right now you got musical chairs in the room. You got musical chairs. And your only reason that that's working right now is because Howie has done a really good job at building the roster up.